How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This episode, I'm getting that engine in and more, so stick around. I don't know if you guys ever have these kind of days. I'm sure you probably do. But I'm just losing shit all day. Just started off with, I lost my ratchet. And no idea where the hell it was, but I had a spare one. So that's all good. But I only had it like 15 minutes ago. You think I could find it? Now, the next thing was putting this bell housing, or putting this gearbox on the back of the engine, and I had the bolts set aside. Now, do you think I could find them? No, I couldn't. So I've had to empty out my bolt supply and go through that. Getting pretty scarce with these bigger bolts. Now, I've got that bolted up, and then I've realised I've forgotten something. It wasn't the flex plate, it's in there. But I forgot the sandwich plate that goes on there. Oh, and guess what? I found my ratchet. Right there. Anyway. Yeah, so that's got to come back apart. I actually got lucky, it went together really well. Of course it did, because I forgot to put a part in there and I've got to pull it apart again. And I don't recall having a sandwich plate. But anyway, I did find one. Just giving it a quick coat of paint. There it is there. So now, yep, we've got to pull that apart, the gearbox off the back of the engine, and put that in. These engine levelers are unreal. I don't know how I'd do this without, well, it'd be difficult anyway. I could do it, but it'd be a major pain in the ass. I'm just going to put some spacers underneath, or in between the engine mounts. I think these 221s, when they go in on the stock engine mounts, the sump can interfere with the steering, so I'm going to put these in there, and yeah, hopefully that'll do. All right, it's on both engine mounts. Unusual for it to happen that easy. All right, now the engine's in, I can fold this big yellow monster up and put it away. Now, when I got this car and I dismantled it, This driver's side front guard did not have an allowance for, where is it, that tab on this headlight surround. So yeah, I've just drilled a hole there. I've also enlarged the holes on the top lip there, and now this it should fit. Now this driver's side front guard, I've had to drill a couple of holes here just to fit a tab that is on the chrome piece that goes on there. This guard is actually off an earlier model, so it didn't have that hole. So yeah, I'll fit the trim up and I'll show you in a second. I love getting parts. It's kind of like Christmas, isn't it? Let's go and open this up. I know what it is, of course. Okay, I've bought myself some new headlights, H4s. So I'll fit those onto the brackets and get them installed. Got those new headlights installed onto the buckets and brackets, and I got to say, I reckon they're looking pretty good. I had to move a few screws around, fitting screws on those brackets, but yeah, it wasn't too hard. So anyway, that's done. Making progress, moving forward. So that's good. Just in the process of fitting up the trim for this guard. Now, problem I've got is the bracket that holds this trim on. There it is there. I mean, the thread is okay there at the front, but the one at the back, well, this one just makes it through and there's enough thread to tighten that nut up. So I'm okay there. I might use some Loctite or something just to make sure that doesn't come off. Different matter on the driver's side. That thread had broken off way too short. There it is there. Now what I've done is I found a screw, same thread of course, and I've just squared the inside of that head off. And that should fit into there okay. So yeah, I'll do that, and then that bracket as good as new, pretty much. Well, it'll do its job anyway. got that screw tapped in, fit quite nice. Also just made 4 rubber gaskets to go on these threads. Because it had that, it's like might have been cork underneath before. So yeah, I'll just try the rubber ones and see how they go. Righto. This stainless trim for the side of the car, I don't have any fittings to attach it to the car, so I've got these, well, I've only got about 4 of them, of these screws, and I put a washer on there and it fits quite good. It's nice and snug, but do you think I could find that exact size bolt at the hardware? No. I've gone and bought all these just to try them, and yeah, those heads were too small. I think they're too big, like too fat, but these ones here with a washer fit pretty good. Here's one here, but what I had to do is I had to grind the head just to make it fit in there. So yeah, that fits pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'll just weld that washer onto the bolt, just a tack, and yeah, that should be pretty good. Stop it spinning when I tighten it up. Just got to get some lock nuts, or I suppose I could use those square nuts that are in there and just glue them on, Loctite them. I might do that. Alright, just some of the little issues I've got to deal with before I can put the guards and everything back on the car. Right, I've dragged this exhaust out from behind the shed. This was originally on my wagon. You can probably tell by that curved tailpipe there. That sort of ducks out behind the rear wheel, which I still need to do on that wagon actually, because it gets fumes in it. Anyway, I've removed the olive that was on there. That's it there. Yeah, she's seen better days, I think. Now, I knew I had another one. There it is there, but yeah, a bit big. So I'll go into the muffler shop in town, and hopefully they've got one of those in stock to fit. So yeah, now I've been mucking around just trying to get the front suspension back in. I've only just started. Got the up control arm in there with the spacers that I hope it needs. I did mark them when I took them out. I just wrapped them in tape just so I knew what went where. Now these are left over from the other side. I only put 3 back in on each stud. Hopefully that's enough. But yeah, when it comes to the wheel alignment, if it's not, I'll just take those in with me and they can use them if they need to. I've got some springs and shock absorbers in a box over there. I'll just go get them. I just want to see what they are, whether they're lowered or standard. I'm not sure. Go and have a look. Okay, got my insulators. These are just old ones. Actually, that looks like it's pretty new. That one's a bit old, but anyway, still do the job. Actually, got a couple of insulators here. These springs, KFFL 14s. I need to look up what they are. Let's see how the box does it. No, I have to look up what they are. I don't think they're super lows or anything like that. Anyway. I don't know what these are either. It says Ultra King. I don't know if that means they're lowered or not. Give me a minute, I'll get back to you. I'll go find out. Righto. It turns out that the KFFL L is just lowered. If it had SL, that would be super low, and SSL, super low, whatever it is. Anyway, so they're just lowered, which is about 35 millimeters lower than normal. Now, as for these shocks, they are 40 to 45 millimeter lower, I think. But yeah, I'm still going to use them. Last time in my wagon, I put Cortina springs, and they're like 65 millimeters lower than normal. But yeah, no, they're good. Lowered it really nicely, actually. These will sit a bit higher, of course, but that's all right. Okay. I'll look at getting these things put in. Just had to drill those out because these bolts would not fit through the hole, so just a little bit too wide. And still a little bit too wide. Aftermarket parts, they suck. Right. Now, I wasn't sure which way these saddles went on. I sort of thought, yeah, maybe with that tab where the end of the coil would sit against that, I suppose it could go either way. But then I noticed that cutout. And that's an allowance, I guess, to go around that ball joint section. So that has to go that way. So, yeah. Just in case anyone didn't know, there you go. Just look for that cutout in the saddle. Now, this is not a how-to on how to make one of these. This is just how I made it. That works. The bottom part is off an old shock absorber. I've welded that to a bit of tube, and I got this threaded rod on the top. Now that goes to your saddle, of course. And I just made this dodgy thing up on top. It sits on the shock tower here, and just got a nut with a square head on top. Does the job. I made sure my welds are quite good. This threaded rod goes all the way through. So yeah, it's pretty strong. So I've never had an issue with it. So yeah, works all right. Now, I don't know if this is the proper way to go about it, but as you saw, I fitted up my spring compressor to the saddle, put the coil spring on, put it up inside the spring housing area, And yeah, I've taken the upper control arm bolts out, or nuts off, and just pushed it out. And I've done up the saddle bolts to that top control arm. Now I'm just going to tighten the spring compressor, wind it up a bit, and then I'll feed it into those holes, those upper control arm bolts through them holes. It worked on the other side, so no reason it shouldn't work on this side. Alright, I've wound that coil spring up a fair way. I mean, it could go more, but I reckon I might be able to get those bolts, those studs back in. Right, I'll just put those nuts back on and good to go. Right, now that that's all done up, I'll remove my spring compressor and good to go. Pretty easy. It's good to finally get some of these parts on the car. They've been sitting here forever, all ready and waiting to go on. I was wondering why the caster rod bolt holes here are so far out of alignment. It's like the first hole here is matching up with that hole. Should be up there. Anyway, I'll show you what's going on. That's supposed to be straight. Yeah, that's supposed to be straight. That's been bent. So, yeah, I guess I've got to try and bend that back somehow. It's actually pretty good. actually moved quite easy. I thought it would be a lot harder than that. Righto, I managed to just put a screwdriver up through the hole and lever it over. I did have to tighten the bolts or the nut at the other end of the rod. Not all the way up, but it did help a lot when I did that. So the other side, I had to drill the hole out in the control arm to get this bolt in. It was yeah, it just wouldn't go through the hole. Anyway, I'll spare you me tightening nuts. Rightio guys, the end of another video. Sorry about the rain, it makes a little bit of noise on the roof, but anyway, you get that. I got the engine in. I've been putting it off. I think because I changed gearbox and bell housing, I was worried it was going to hit the firewall, and so I kind of avoided putting it in. But, you know, yeah, once I got that out of my head, put it in there, it was all fine, of course. And I reckon it looks unreal. It looks really good. I'm happy with it. Got the spring shocks and the control arms in. Happy about that. I was hoping to get the guards on, headlights and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'll get that done in the next video. Alright, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch us on the next one. See you later.